Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Today is the 12-year anniversary of the release of the album God's Son by this artist, Nas. I want to talk about Nas's early discography and a deliberate coding inside of it that pertains to September 11th. I've already done a post similar to this on the Wu-Tang Clan. It's one of the first posts I did. I'll link it down in the comments. But check this out, you guys. This is pretty fascinating. So, the name Nas in simple English gematria sums to 34. The word Illmatic, the name of his first album in simple English gematria, sums to 79. When you add these two numbers together, 34 plus 79, you get 113, a number coded into many things. You can call it an Illuminati signature. Disney and Pixar and other movie studios acknowledge that they code this number routinely into movies. The word Illmatic with the Pythagorean method sums to 34, just like Nas was simple English gematria. Look at that match. First album. This album was released on April 19th, 1994. This date, April 19th, is interesting because in recent history, the Waco and Oklahoma City bombing events both took place on those days. It should be noted that Waco lasted for 51 days. The word conspiracy sums to 51. David Koresh, the leader of this, was killed at the age of 33. Timothy McVeigh was put to death at the age of 33 on January 16th, 116, the same as 911 upside down. So that was his first studio release, Illmatic. His next album was It Was Written. And yours truly can remember the day he took the city bus to the city mall to buy this album. I used to buy a lot of CDs back then, and I was excited about this album when it was coming out. And at the time, I was almost 13 years old. I was just 12 years old. I really liked this CD at the time, Truth Seeker. That's a fact. So anyhow, the gematria of the title It Was Written, which is what this album is called, sums to 55, a very important number in numerology. It was released July 2nd, 96. Remember, the word Freemason sums to 96, important number in Freemasonry. July 2nd in history is also very important. This album begins with a skit having much to do with slavery. In history, slavery ended on July 2nd, 1777 in Vermont, the first state to abolish slavery. This album is called It Was Written, an introduction with slavery. In history, slavery truly ended on this date. This is also the date the Amistad event took place, where the slaves took over the ship. There's been a movie made about that. If you look on this date in history, there's actually a ton of stuff that has to do with slavery on July 2nd. It's overwhelming. It's also the date the Declaration of Independence was first adopted. Our nation's birthday could just as easily be July 2nd and might very well be if it was as important of a number as 74 in this study of numerology and gematria. What I'm saying is 74 is the more important number, but this too, 72, is another one. It's the reverse of 27. Okay. So, little introduction there. This is where it gets interesting, Truth Seeker. Pay attention. His third album released is called I Am. And if you've seen my post on September 11th and the phrase I am, then you know what I'm talking about already. I will link this down in the comments too. We're going to talk about it a little bit right here though. This album, his third album, was released April 6th, 1999. So we had an album come out in 94, 96, now 99. April 6th is the 96th day of the year. Right, True Seeker? 96. His last album came out in 96. 96 is very important to Freemasonry. The word Freemason with simple English gematria is 96. The word Satanism with simple English gematria is 96. And remember, Satanism is all about self-worship. It's all about promoting yourself. I am. You can see how that would tie in with self-worship. So, Also, there's speculation that April 6th is the day Jesus was resurrected, which also means the speculation that he was crucified on the cross on April 3rd, 3 days earlier. Doesn't mean it's a fact, it's just what some people say. On the modern calendar, it translates to April 3rd and April 6th. Okay, so this phrase I am in gematria, you guys, it becomes I is the ninth letter, A is the first, and M is the 13th. So in numbers, if you just replace the letters with numbers, it would become 9113. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to it. His fourth album, you guys, was released in the same year. Remember, we went from 94 to 96 to 99 to another release in 99. This album was called Nostradamus, play on his name, and then the predictor, the guy who's said to have predicted so many events through history. Some people argue that he predicted 9/11 correctly. Well, I'll tell you what, this Nostradamus predicted 9/11 correctly. Hang in here, Truth Seeker. So this album came out November 23rd, 1999. April 6th to November 23rd, 1999. Can you guys guess how many weeks this is, Truth Seeker? This is exactly 33 weeks. This is a span of 231 days. If you can do this math in your head, 7 times 30 is 210. 7 times 3 is 21. 210 plus 21 is 231. 33 weeks apart of these albums. 33 weeks. Or 7 months and 17 days. What do we know about 33? Okay. This album, Nostradamus, it begins with an introduction called The Prediction. The track is 1 minute and 19 seconds in length. 11:9. 11:9. Do you see that within that title? In this prediction, there's many things, but some of the things that stand out is he predicts the New World Order will collapse. He predicts there'll be the birth of black magic. He predicts there will be the end of birth control. That's said through no more pink and yellow pills. They're referencing birth control. No more paper money. He also says everyone will be branded with a mark. He envisions killing fields. And he imagines dry oceans. That one's hard to imagine, but these other things, I see where they're coming from now. So, remember, this album was called I Am. It came out 33 weeks before this album, Nostradamus, with The Prediction. And if you listen to this whole album, you guys, it is very interesting. I remember back at the time when I first heard this album, I was 16 years old. And it just sounded way different than everything else he'd done. In fact, this album, I Am, it sounded a lot different than these two. These two albums had a lot different lyrical content than this one. This one became more about the self-worship. This was more of a selfish album. And then in this one, Nostradamus, it just talks about a lot of interesting subjects. It's either the second or third song on the album is about how many people on this earth are possessed by angels and demons. Just a lot different content than what was going on before. And then you see these spacings in days. Anyway, check this out. Remember the phrase, I am 9113? Well, with regards to September 11th, 2001, this number comes up 2 times. One is in the date. September 11th, 2001 in numerology, there's a thing where you break down the month, day, year in numerology terms. So the day's 19. It's already a single digit. In numerology, you break down to a single digit. So the month 9 for September stays 9. The day 11, in numerology, multiples of 11 are considered master numbers, and they do not need to be broken down to a single digit. So this day can remain. 11 can stay 11. The year 2001 becomes 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1, which sums to 3. So this date is 9113, just like the phrase, I am. With regards to the World Trade Centers, there was a 93 World Trade Center bombing. Look at this number. Drop the 11. What do you have? You have 9 and 3. The 93 World Trade Center bombing happened on February 26th. February 26th to September 11th, 2001 is 3,119 days. You can look this up on a day calculator. It is true. You can quickly verify this. 3,119 is the reverse of 9,113. What I'm saying, you guys, is September 11th, the people who really carried out that event, it wasn't Osama bin Laden, if you haven't figured that one out yet. The people who really carried that out, I'm accusing the Freemasons, the higher up Freemasons, saying this is all they're doing. This is all their plan. And what it was their I am statement. I am. Imagine what it must feel like to dupe the world and get away with it on such a monumental level. It might make you say, I am. And anyway, you guys, for any of you who are Nas fans, know who he works for. I just saw him on the commercial the other day on the television doing Hennessy commercials. Hennessy, alcohol. What do we know about alcohol in 33? See how it all connects, True Seeker? For those of you who don't know, the World Trade Centers existed for 33 years. Their construction began in 68, and then they demolished 33 years, 2001. Also that year, 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code. That's 1968 also, 33 years earlier. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones 33 years earlier in 1968. Space Odyssey 2001 came out that year. Martin Luther King was assassinated that year. Robert Kennedy was assassinated that year. And this is the legacy, you guys. We get Illuminati-sponsored rappers. Nas loves to use the word Illuminati in his lyrics. We get Illuminati-sponsored rappers predicting our future and albums that we pay our money for. Had we known what to look for, we could have seen within the album Nostradamus that September 11th, 2001 was forecast. This album was released, what is that, about 94 weeks before September 11th, 2001 happened. All right, True Seeker, just want to share these notes, little information. Hopefully that was clear. Until next time.